What's up guys, it's Chris back with another watch video, and today I am taking a very scientific approach at comparing three really awesome, really affordable dive watches from three amazing brands: Zelos, Tissot, and Seiko. So from the left here we have the Zelos Hammerhead version 2, which just recently came out, and here I have that it is $369 shipped. That is shipped from Singapore, no other taxes or fees. So that's the Zelos right here. And then we have the Tissot Seastar 1000. That is about $400, and then you have to pay tax and shipping. If you're getting it off of Amazon or eBay, that's where you have to go and get these watches. So that's what you would be paying. You will be paying tax now on eBay. And then the SBDC061, one of the best dive watches from Seiko in my opinion, the Baby Marine Master. And this is selling around $700 on eBay. And again, you have to pay tax and shipping. So what I've done here is I've put a little bit of a chart in the background, and then I put a winner and then a weight. And it might be a little bit hard to see on the screen. However, I'm giving this round to Zelos. So the price is going to Zelos because obviously it is the cheapest watch out of the three. And that is the only criteria that I'm basing that off of. So I'm giving that to Zelos, and I'm also weighting the price 2 times. So that means Zelos gets 2 points for that because it is the least expensive. That is a really good thing. Next, are they all stainless steel? Yes. So all three are stainless steel. So really, no points given to anything, any of the watches for that. Size. So on the size comparison, I gave it to Seiko because it is 44 millimeters, but it wears smaller than the 43 millimeter Tissot, and it wears way smaller than the 44 millimeter Hammerhead. However, they are very similar, and the reason why I'm saying way smaller is because of the thickness. 17 inches thick on the Zelos. It is pretty thick with that dome sapphire crystal. You don't have a dome sapphire crystal, you have just a plain sapphire crystal on the Seiko, but it actually works pretty well because it is pretty thin, as you can see, as compared to the Zelos. So I'm going to give that to the Seiko. That is only weighted 1, so that is 1 point for Seiko. And as we move down, sapphire crystal, all three have a sapphire crystal, so no real winner. They are flat, just as a note, they are flat sapphire crystals on the Tissot and the SBDC, so you could see they're completely flat sapphire crystals, but they are sapphire crystals. And then on the Zelos, you do have a very nice dome to this sapphire crystal, as you can see there. Then next we have, so there's no winner on that one. Next we have the ceramic bezel insert on the Zelos. So we're comparing bezel inserts here. Ceramic on the Zelos, Tissot gets ceramic, and Seiko gets metal. I give this to Zelos, obviously, because this new and improved version of the Hammerhead really has a very nice bezel. It's loomed. The finishing is great. It's made out of ceramic. The ceramic bezel on the Tissot is not good at all. It washes out with light. It is ceramic, but it's just way too glossy. And not that the Seiko has a bad ceramic insert, a metal insert. It's just, it is a metal insert. It's not very glossy. It looks really nice. It actually will patina and age along with the watch, which I really like actually. But for durability and longevity, I give it to the Zelos because it does look as good as it does right now, and you know, you only have a loom pip. It's not loomed on the Seiko, so I definitely have to give that to the Zelos. So that is another point for the Zelos. Moving along, applied indices. Very similar applied indices on both of the Seiko and Tissot, as you can see. Just some sticks and circles with a chevron at the top on each, and that's really it. You also have pips on this, but on both the watches, not incredibly daring or out of the box. They are nice and very capable. They look good. However, I have to say on the Zelos, you're getting something a little bit better, something a little bit more special, and definitely out of the ordinary. With these applied indices, they are very, very loomed, and they look really, really good. I really like the way that they've applied them directly into the chapter ring, and the chapter ring is so. I mean, you're really getting a lot here for the money on the Zelos, which is, I think, pretty obvious so far. So again, applied indices. That goes to Zelos. The loom, I don't even need to go into this. Lumibrite is fantastic on the Seiko, but this is just insane. When you see this watch without the lights on, it's incredible. I did loom shops of all these watches. The worst is obviously the Tissot. I don't know why they don't apply thick. They don't apply a lot of it. The C3X1 and the BGW9 on the Zelos is just the clear and beautiful, and definitely the winner out of this comparison. So another win for the Zelos there. Date, I give this to both the Zelos and the Tissot. Really, the Tissot has a little bit of an edge, maybe just because it's circular, but that's really just my opinion. So I went with both of them on this. They really did an excellent job, in my opinion, of applying the date to the 6 o'clock marker area, and also putting in a color match background. It looks really good on both of those watches. I never really was a big fan of how the date shows up on the SBDC. And even though it's color matched, it is not color matched. It does replace the marker at 3 o'clock, but I just don't like the placement and the look of it. I think it would look so much better on the Tissot, and it looks so much better on the Zelos. So I give them a point each on that. On water resistance, I actually give the Seiko the win on this, even though it's 200 meters water resistance compared to 1,000 on the Zelos and 300 on the Tissot. I think when considering everything, I have to give it to the Seiko, because the Seiko has really the nicest case, the thinnest case out of all three, and it's ISO certified, whereas the other two are not. So really, that's really what it comes down to. It's ISO certified. The other two are not ISO certified. 1,000 meters is overkill. 300 meters is great, but neither are really ISO certified. So that's really the bottom line standard there for me. And so that goes to Seiko. Bezel action. 120 click bezels on all of these watches. Zelos gets the win on this one, because just listen. The Tissot is nice, but does not sound as good. A little bit looser, and it is loose in general, which is not nice. I don't like that. And the Seiko is just too tight. It sounds really good, but it's just way too tight. And there's a little bit of backplay, but not much. So Zelos gets that one. Next, movement. Obviously the Tissot, you have the Seastar. The Paramatic 80 in the Seastar 1000, and you get 80 hours of power reserve from this partially decorated movement. And honestly, it is even a little bit of decoration, which is on the main plate and on the rotor. You're getting way more than you're actually getting from either the Seiko or the Zelos. Zelos, you're getting an NH35, you have a 6R15, which is nice on both of them, hack, hand winding, everything gets that. But you get 80 hours power reserve on the Tissot, and you get to look at it. It's really nice. Definitely Tissot gets that, and I weighted that 2 times because I think that's pretty important, in my opinion. So next, we have the crown. Hands down, crown winner, 100%, is the Zelos. It's big, it's chunky, it's finished much nicer than it was in the past, and of course it's loomed. Seiko We don't even have a signed crown. It is big and it's nice. I like the placement of 4 o'clock, but it just doesn't compare. And the Tissot, obviously, you get crown guards, it's nice, but it's a little bit smaller, and it just doesn't compare to the Zelos. The Zelos has a nicer crown. That's just the way it is on that, I think. And you can see here, I've been giving these scores. I would say the crown on the Zelos is excellent, Tissot is good, and the Seiko is fair. So that gives the Zelos another point. So the overall dial, I'm saying excellent on the Zelos, excellent on the Tissot, obviously. So that's because you have that really beautiful sand texture on the Zelos. I really love the dial. I love the chapter ring. I love that it's loomed. I love the applied indices. I love the applied Zelos. It looks really, really good. And the same on the Tissot. I love that blue to black gradient. I really think you can't find this anywhere else for this price. It changes with light, as you can see. It's reflective. You know, you have your applied indices. I like the script on it. It looks really, really good. Just an excellent dial on both of these watches. So I would say it's a tie. Seiko has a great, fantastic dial, but it is just a matte black dial. It's very classic, very, very sporty looking dial. I think it works really well. But if you compare it to the other two, they're a little bit more, you're getting a little bit more for your money when you're looking at those other two dials on the Tissot and Zelos. So this is quick. All three of these watches, you know, are made in different places. So Singapore for the Zelos, Swiss made for the Tissot, and Japan for the SBDC. Really, all of these have Chinese parts in them. They're probably all made 50% in China, or maybe even more than that, depending on, you know, if it's which watch it is. This could be a lot more Chinese-made parts. But in my opinion, really what I'm considering is the build quality. I'm going to go with where they're made and the cost of making it there. So I'm going to say Tissot Seiko. Even though all three of them, I think that the build quality is overall really, really good on the Seiko and the Zelos. I'm going to have to give it to the Seiko and the Tissot, just because of location. And also, I think that there's a little bit more that can be done with the Zelos, although it's really, really good. So, oh yeah, and the overall dial, that was weighted 2 as well. Bracelet option, there is no real bracelet option on the Tissot. It does, you can buy one with a bracelet, but it's terrible. It has a pressed clasp. It's horrible, so that definitely doesn't win. I'm going to give it to both the Seiko and the Zelos because the bracelets are fantastic. Now, the Zelos doesn't have as nice of a bracelet as the Seiko. However, I feel like they've gone the extra mile to give you a really nice clasp. They've done a lot to make the bracelet feel better. It does not feel as good as the Seiko, but I will say it's either a tie or it goes to the Seiko, and I'm just going to leave it at that. You have push buttons on both of these. They're both double flip, but there is pressed elements here on the Seiko where there is not on the Zelos, and I do like that. Integration into the case are fine. Is fine on the Zelos. It's not excellent. It's much better on the Seiko. So really, it's a Seiko Zelos tie, but really I think that goes to the Seiko. Heritage, case and heritage. I'm just going to go a little bit quicker on these. Case, I think, is good on the Zelos, good on the Tissot. I think it's excellent on the Seiko. So I'm going to give that to the Seiko, and that gets weighted 2 points. Heritage, I don't think that the Zelos has a heritage. I would say poor, although it doesn't have a poor heritage. Really, it just doesn't have one. It's just a brand new brand, and they don't really have one. So it's a tie between the Tissot and the Seiko, which both have excellent heritage. And then caseback. I'm going to say good on the Zelos. They've improved it a lot. It looks really, really good. The Tissot I give an excellent because obviously you can see the movement, which I really like. And there is decoration. And then fair on the Seiko because really it's just a pressed caseback. And that gives the Tissot the win on that. And here is the winners. Here, I mean, really, this is very subjective in some points, and it's not in others. So I'm giving the Zelos an 11, the Tissot an 8, and the Seiko a 7, which I was even surprised by. Excuse me. However, if I have to say, I would say these two are on par with each other. And if I had to choose one watch out of the three to wear every day, it would be the Seiko. Even though I just scored them this way, and there's a reason, because that's just the way watch collecting is. Really, on paper, the Zelos is the best watch here. However, if I had to choose an everyday watch, I would choose the Seiko. However, with that being said, if you're considering price, you're considering things like the heritage. You could go with the Tissot as well. And then if you consider price continually, and it only is if that's a major factor in when you're purchasing, the Zelos can't be beat at this price. It has so much. It packs so much into such a continually being refined package. They're constantly working and making these watches better. Elshan is definitely working very hard to make these watches better. He's listening to the community, and they're doing a lot. So when it comes down to it, I own all three of the watches. Obviously, I love all three of these watches. I think they're absolutely fantastic watches. And anybody who is looking for a dive watch, really, it just depends on the price point you're looking at. If you're looking for something under $400, go with the Zelos. If you're looking for something under $500, go with the Tissot. And if you're looking for something under $1,000, under $800, go with the Seiko. You would be happy with any one of these watches. They're amazing watches. Anyway, this is a pretty long video, so I'm going to wrap it up. Please let me know what you think in the comments below. Which one of these watches do you own? Which one do you love? Where am I wrong? Give me your opinions. I really want to hear. I've tried to do this scientifically and sort of get this, as close to what I think other people would think as well. But I'm only human, so these are some of these are based on opinion. Anyway, please don't forget to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. It is much appreciated and very helpful. Thank you for watching.